All right, folks, I've got 6 o'clock, so we're going to call this meeting to order. Thank you all for being here tonight. Item 2 of our agenda, you can grab a copy of the agenda off the back desk if you need it, is establishment of a quorum. We've got 4 of 5 board members present. Mr. Richie Nagel is on work travel. He sends his apologies for not being with us. Item 3 is going to be our invocation. We're going to have that led by Dr. Josh Swindoll. Josh.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for the day that you blessed us with, and God, for the opportunity to be here. And Lord, I pray, God, for our leaders, I pray for this community, our schools. Lord, I pray your protection, your blessings, and God, your just a hedge around all of us, God, around every child, every family, particularly these leaders as they make decisions and that shape our future, and then in the future of these children, God, the people that you put in our care, allow us just to shepherd and lead them well. And Lord, pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, item 4 is Pledge of Allegiance. It's going to be led by Mr. Rocky Smith. If you please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item 5 is going to be adoption of the agenda. Board, you've got an agenda in front of you, and we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Got a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6 is approval of minutes. We've got minutes from 3 previous meetings, 2 work sessions, and 1 formal meeting. Minutes are attached. Please take a second to review. We'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Got a motion to approve. We have a second. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 7 is going to be reports to the board. Our first report is going to come from Mr. Bradley Colburn for a financial report.
Okay, board, I'm going to report to you as of January 31st, 2026. The trends that we've been talking about for the last couple of months finally came to fruition. The revenue streams that we referred to, those monies came in over Christmas break and had to come in over the month of January. So feeling a lot better about our situation, where we're going to be, and just looking for the impact of the trend to start now leveling off, and a little bit each month it's going to kind of reduce our bottom line, because now all our revenues are kind of front end loaded into the system. We're going to level out as we go throughout the year. But to talk about January itself, it's the 4th month of our fiscal year, so we should be hovering around 33%. We're currently at 38% of our revenue. We've received a total of $6.9 million of local revenue through the month of January, which is about 49% of our budgeted revenue streams from local. So that kind of shows you what we're talking about. We're 10-15% ahead of what our budgeted numbers are. The other piece being sales tax to come in on a monthly cycle. Expenditures are at 33.89%, almost 34%, which is typical, which is about right where we need to be. Barring, I know that we're going to have budget amendments coming, which will get that back more in line. Payroll expenditures for January was $3.5 million. It's about a $128,000 increase, which is essentially level funding if you take into consideration some of the additional bodies that we've added between the 2 years. Payroll expenditures are at 33%. Board's accounts payable for January is a little over $1 million. Some of the larger items being the City of Hartsville, that's our funding agreement. I say it every month, it's the same amount of money. Avive Solutions, that was for purchase of AEDs. Ms. Morton and myself sat down and we did just trying to figure out what we needed to do to fully put an AED in every sports team, every program that we possibly could ever need an AED on the ground. And this purchase was finalized us being able to do that. So now it's just gonna be a replacement of parts and batteries and all that good stuff from now on. So felt really good about that work that she put in to try to get a program, and, you know, those things are pretty expensive, and it's hard to keep that equipment up to date, but, we were able to work out some warranty stuff and some battery life stuff to where this is gonna be something that's like a 6 to 8 year type cycle versus, you know, every 2 to 3 years with batteries. So it felt like it was a cost savings thing, but also, something that's very important to have happen. All right, some more, building construction, associates, $216,000, that was for Barkley Bridge. There's another one that's in here as well for another $240,000, that's Barkley Bridge as well. Voss Properties, for $16,000, that was to clear some of that land that we bought over by Barkley Bridge for the road. That's going in on the backside. We were able to buy the, sped bus that we've been waiting on for 2 years at the cost of $152,000, if that gives you an idea of what a bus costs compared to the state gives us about $7,000 a year, so $70,000 over the life of a bus, so we've got to make up that $80,000. And then Hartsville Utilities for $119,000. And so we ended the month with excess revenue over expenditures in the general fund of $1.2 million. Compared to last year, it was $258,000. So it shows you that the revenue streams are still strong. Some of the adjustments we've been making to the expenditure side of things, and some of these programs actually being brought onto the books through a state-funded mechanism versus a locally funded mechanism to help offset some of this stuff, which is a good positive thing for us. We ended unreserved fund balance as of January 31st at $13.2 million, which is equivalent to 3.36 months operating. You take out us reserving some of our SSUT money to finalize that last debt service payment we're gonna have to make on Crestline, which is another $400,000. We're sitting about 3.2 months operating, and that's true operating availability for the system. Really strong. We're in really good shape at this point. Two notable things I wanted to bring out. FEB was able to receive a robotics grant, Ms. Roden, for $3,400. She's gonna buy a bunch of more parts, and they know all the stuff they buy, but they got another $3,500 coming there. And Ms. Moses at intermediate school also received a robotics grant for about the same $3,500 to buy the same kind of X stuff. So really excited about that. That's my report, unless you have any questions. Thanks, sir.
All right, next item up is the superintendent's report.
Right, good evening, thank you all for being here. We are literally in full speed around here with spring in the air, and not only academically, but also, I've said this before, anytime during the spring, if you want to figure out what's going on in Hartsville, just look for the lights, because someone is playing somewhere, or someone is in an event on Saturday, and so if you are bored, we have things for you to do, just let us know, and we'll find you something to do. I would like to congratulate several groups that we have that have competed and have been in competition lately. Our theater students have done amazing. We have an outstanding number of band students who have reached the honor band level lately. Our robotics, we have some of them here tonight. Our drones. We also have many other students who are receiving awards, and so I encourage you to read the newsletter that we're trying to put out at the end of every month. We try to highlight many of our students and our faculty and staff who are doing amazing things. And also, because I saw that he was here, I do want to mention that Officer Eubanks is the Hartsville Police Department Officer of the Year. And so we are very proud of him and what he does. He leads our SRO group and the SPO group, and so we are proud that he is a part of our schools, and he was well deserved in that honor, so we're proud of him. So, and tonight we also have a special honor. We have a student group who some of them are playing baseball, but we have the best for the best still with us, who are in Coach Becky Gardner's class at the high school, who they are going to tell you about an amazing project that they are working on that we are so proud of. And just today, they were recognized by the County Commission in Morgan County that their app that they've created that they're going to share with you tonight is actually a part and going live on the Morgan County website for the EMA. And so we were inviting them, so if Mr. Gardner will come up and introduce them and tell us a little bit about what they're doing and share this app with you as well.
Let me just echo thanks to Officer Zeke. He keeps our school safe, and we really appreciate everything he does for us. So, let me just give you a little bit of an introduction to what we're doing in our AI class this year. Thank a couple of people, Dr. Sutherland, Dr. Swindle, Tim, Allen, for supporting, helping with the AI, because there's a lot of pieces moving to get this thing running this year. We're in a pilot with the cyber school. You may know of the cyber school in Huntsville. It's really probably more tied to Mary Claire Wright, who started working there a couple of years ago and is building this AI course for the entire state of Alabama. We are the first and the flagship school in the state to pilot artificial intelligence. There was a couple other ones I think were getting started later. I don't know how they're doing. She just started teaching at the cyber school in January, so we've been ahead of them since we launched in August. One of the things in the pilot, we've been learning to teach machines different things and train machines, was to reach out and identify some community challenges for our students to work to find AI solutions that would solve those problems. Can you go to the Gemini? So really my contribution to this was I worked to create a virtual mayor. So we have an AI mayor parcel called Mayor Jim. Mayor Jim has been trained in all the problems around Morgan County and North Alabama, and has even read all the board minutes of municipals and county commissions and all this kind of stuff to serve the students so they can engage and ask about the kind of problems that we have in our area. So we actually had 5 solutions. We had a showcase back in November. 3 of those were submitted to the Presidential AI Challenge. One was a medical application. One was a road hazard tracking system. And of course, we have the EMA project. So today, we met with the commission. They're actually going to roll it out on the website. And I'm going to let 2 of our students, there are 4 on our team, Lachlan Kennedy and Cole Miles. They're across town playing baseball. And we have Ethan Haynes and Oliver Ambrose with us tonight. And they're going to present their project and what's going to go live this week on the EMA's website. And we're all very proud of these students. So Oliver, if you and Ethan would, which would be the best place for them to talk?
Can you see it from there? If you come up here, or you can talk either way?
I'll be ready.
Okay.
Tim's pointing up here, so you guys will come up.
Yes, you need
And 2 of our best and brightest at Hartselle High School. I'm a little bit biased because Ethan's in my calculus and my artificial intelligence class. Oliver's taking a lot of classes, but he's in CSA and artificial intelligence this year. If you recognize Oliver, okay, he is a content creator who has over 100,000 followers on YouTube. He is a Fortnite expert. He kicks some butt tonight at 4 o'clock. Being a team out of Arkansas. But rumor has it, he's making more than most of the teachers around the school system producing content on Fortnite. So very proud of both these guys, and I'll let you guys present what y'all created and demo the website.
All right, so we're going to be going over our Morgan County Storm Shelters website, and we're going to be going over what it does and what we're doing next with it, and Ethan's going to be giving a live demo of the website. Our 2 partners, Cole Miles and Lachlan Kennedy, couldn't be here. I'm Oliver Ambrose, and this is Ethan Haynes, and let's go over it. So what the website does and what it provides is basically like a storm shelter sanctuary, where when you're prompted on the website, you're given all these shelters, and it includes each and every shelter that's in Morgan County. It gives the capacity of the shelter, the street number, the address, whatever you can need. And at the bottom of each shelter is the Get Directions button. And this sends you straight to a Google Maps version of the shelter. and it gives you directions, whatever you can need for the shelter. And there's also a filter by city feature, where whatever city you press, it'll give you each shelter for that city. And there's also a pet-friendly shelters tab as well, where it'll give you any shelter that's pet-friendly, because I know a lot of people here, they have a lot of pets or dogs or cats, whatever. So this website's just very convenient for people who have like severe weather near them, especially at this time of year since it's spring. And let's move on to the next slide. We also added a weather radar. This includes most of the radar for North Alabama, but you can also look for basically any state, any city, that radar. And there's also a search feature where when you search on this radar, you can look at the future weather, the past weather, or just any type of weather for each city or each state you want. In case you're like traveling somewhere and you want to know that future climate and you want to prepare for it. And that's why the radar's there. And it's actually, we integrated it from the National Weather Service, and that's why you can see basically just any city across the globe or whatever you want to look at. And the AI we used for this project, it was made with 100% AI, and the actual AI is Gemini. This is Google's AI, and it just shows that creating websites like this, it doesn't require like years of learning code or any skill in coding. It just requires like being able to prompt to an AI, and being able to have good writing skills. And our next steps for this website, we're going to be eventually integrating the website into the Apple App Store, so people all across the globe can just go on the App Store and view it on there without having to go on a traditional website. It'll be a lot easier, but we're going to eventually do that. We're also going to add each and every Alabama county instead of just Morgan County, because Alabama is not just Morgan County, there's more than that. We're going to eventually add every single Alabama county's weather shelters, so everybody across Alabama can view any shelter they would like. And we also submitted our project to the Presidential AI Challenge. This AI Challenge is basically where you submit a community service project, and it's created fully by AI. And we submitted ours, and we're hoping to win the competition prize of $10,000 if you get first place. And we're hopefully getting those results in June. And that's all I have for now, and Ethan will be giving a live demonstration of the website.
Alright, so first off, we wanted to make it accessible for everybody in Morgan County. So at the top right, you can see you can change the language to Spanish if you need to, but I don't know about y'all, but I can't read that. Next, we have the safety guide. You can click on that. And if you scroll down, it'll give you a list of everything you'd need in a disaster situation. So it has stuff like flashlight, first aid kit, and batteries. More stuff you would need. If you go back to the website. And here's our weather radar. You can click on that arrow over there and then explore more weather. And then forecast. And here you can type in any city. If you could do Hartsville, it would show you the weather and links to 10-day forecast. So you can see that it's 45 degrees, and there's the forecast up to Saturday night. And here is this is the main part of our website. It is the storm shelter guide. So you can filter it by a street name, a road, or city up there at the search part, or you could just go down to the tab that says all cities, and you can select the ones that are pet friendly or the ones from any city in Morgan County. And you can also use the sort by my location. It sorts to the closest shelter in your location, but it doesn't work on computers. It only works on like a phone or tablet. So, but if you hit get directions, it'll show you the directions to any shelter that you need. So, yeah, that's our website, and Anybody have any questions?
What drove y'all to this particular idea? I guess Buck mentioned some different things to do. What brought that to you?
So he implemented the project, and we asked Mayor Jim what are the main problems in Morgan County, specifically Hartsville. And for me, the main one was storm shelters being hard to access and hard to find. So that was our main driving reason.
So impressive.
There's also a feature that you can take a picture of a cloud with your phone, and it will classify. That was part of the lesson, was classification of data. It will actually classify and tell you if it looks like a tornado or not. But the EMA people were worried that people would stand outside with their phones and get in trouble when they needed to be in a shelter. So, thanks guys, fantastic job. Let me just close with, AI. I've been involved with technologies. I'm getting pretty old. Tim and I identify with some of the same things from back in the 80s, before we even had personal computers at home. And then we had the emergence of the internet, and then personal computers. I'm sure a school system 30 years ago was debating whether or not they even needed the internet or whether they needed computers. To the rise of smart devices and broadband internet everywhere. This stuff is going to move much faster, be more exciting, be more engaging, and offer us almost unlimited opportunities to solve problems. And that's what this class is really about, is to challenge them to think about what types of problems in our community can we actually use AI to help. So I'd just like to thank the board for your support. Certainly Mr. Randy Sparkman has been instrumental and is an important part. He chairs the AI committee, and he keeps up with all the things changing, because it changes so quickly. And I appreciate you supporting him as well. He comes to our classroom every Thursday and helps us with different topics that we're working through. So, but anyway, it's a great class, and I wish we had an hour to show you even more exciting things that we're doing. It's just, today I'm very proud of these guys. I hope we hear good news in March, April timeframe that we made it through the state round, and hopefully get these guys in the presidential round for the AI Challenge. So thank you very much for listening. Good job.
I will say that Mr. Gardner sells himself very short. He is phenomenal and is very much that mind that's on our AI committee and the policy committee, and is figuring out how the best way to implement and what that looks like for us for the future. And his work with these students has been very eye-opening as far as what they can do and how we can guide them and lead them as they continue to be successful in AI. And at this time, we're going to hear from some of our principals briefly about what's going on in their school. So we'll start with Mr. Young at the high school.
Thank you. That's the kind of things that are going on at the high school. We're very proud of that. Thank you. But briefly, some other things. I have to still read things, so I do the best I can. But Ms. Dupuy has a wonderful course department, and just a few things about her and things that they do. They have 14 singers that participated in the AMEA Honor Choir in January. 18 singers participated in the Southeastern National Honor Choir March the 4th through the 7th in Memphis. 3 singers participated in the All-State Choir Show Festival March the 28th. And Tuesday, March the 3rd, they compete at the State Choral Festival. They have 2 students that will be recognized at the Alabama All-State Choral Festival, Bo Black and Hudson Bone. Bo was the district winner of the tenor bass outstanding choral student, and Hudson was the recipient of the Pat Blackwell Music Education Scholarship. So we're very proud of them. As far as band, Mr. Key and his band program, I think you mentioned some of those things going on. They just finished their all-state auditions, which were very successful for us. We had 1 all-state, which was Josie Roan, We had 3 that made all district. We had 2 try out for all state orchestra and made it. 3 students selected for Alabama Honor Band, and they are hosting the state performance assessments next week, and we perform Wednesday at 9 o'clock for anyone that, I guess, I don't think you can go to that, but that's when they perform. Mr. Randolph, if you've been out, you see a new greenhouse, and that's strictly made by his students, and that greenhouse is gonna add more plants that you can buy, but he's also planning, whether this works out or not, to put a catfish tank in there and try to raise catfish. He's going to give it a shot, but they're doing all the work themselves, and it's very impressive to see the things they've done. Now, whether or not that comes to fruition, we don't know, but he has that in mind. In our healthcare department, we have 10 students enrolled in the first nursing support technician course offered at Wallace State. These students were the first group to compete in this training and will be featured in a college commercial, so we're very proud of them. They have 33 students competing this week at the Host of Future Health Professional State Leadership Conference. We have 3 National Merit Scholars named. Aggie Crow, Skylar Fairchild, and Caleb Dauber. So we're very proud of them. We have 3 of those. Our DECA students excelled at the State Career Development Conference, where 1,700 students from Alabama participated in challenging competitions, 2nd place winners, 3rd place winners, and 1 top 6 ranked team. One of our computer science seniors was featured in Hartselle Inquirer for mentoring a 4th grader in coding and making a difference in community. The Hartselle Theater has been invited to perform at the International Thespian Festival for the first time in school history. They participated in the state not long ago. His students earned superior ratings for the first time in school history, and HCHS students earned superior ratings. Our 10th graders will be participating in the ACT test coming up for the first time ever. So the ACT is March the 10th, and that will be for the 10th and 11th graders. It's the first time that our sophomores have competed. That is very quick what I wanted to say. Now, Dr. Sutherland said it, as far as our athletics go, just pick a night. Just pick a night. 2 of them going on tonight. I just left both of those. So if you really want to go see whatever sport that we offer, and we offer them all, just pick a night and go watch them. So any questions from you guys?
I just want to say that I was at the high school last week, and Mr. Randolph and his crew was out there working. And he proceeded to walk me through it, and I finally said, I really appreciate this, but I don't have a clue what you're talking about. But if you'll let me know when you're going to sell the plants, I'll be glad to come.
Well, that's part of the reason.
But when you started talking about the catfish, I'm like,
well, no,
that is incredible.
That is, and it goes a little beyond that. I'm not going to that right now because it's kind
incredible to
of
watch.
not gross you out, but still, what they're going to
I'm impressed.
feed their plants with, so you can imagine where I'm going with that. But
he gave me the whole lowdown.
he did.
Okay, thank you.
He does a great job, and it's really good to be around. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I've borrowed Coach Young's catfish fryer before, so we don't need to see that thing.
Well, you know, that's the size he's wanting to get, I think, is just for that purpose. So.
We have Dr. Costa from the junior high school.
So Mrs. Kimbrell is tonight with our class of 2031 parents, so our rising 8th graders, and so she's going over upcoming selections, and we've got approximately 20 electives for our upcoming 8th graders, and they have some leadership options to go through. So she's sorry she couldn't be here tonight, but that's what she's doing. Today, Mrs. McCutcheon came to our school, so she got to help out in the cafeteria. We were happy to see her, and the kids loved seeing her, so
It's very hard work, just let me say to you all, it's very hard work.
Yes, yes. Okay, so tomorrow we will be meeting with our current 7th graders, rising 8th graders. We'll be discussing essentially what we went over with the parents, or what Mrs. Kimbrell's going over with the parents, and we'll walk them through our curriculum guide and our choice cards, and they can start to map out their selections for next year, which is exciting. So mostly we are in the throes of registration. Next Thursday, we'll have our rising 7th grader meeting, and they will come The parents are very excited, so they will come. We'll go over, again, our curriculum guide. We'll go over our choice cards. We'll introduce them to our electives and our teachers, and they will be able to, kind of tout their programs. And the following day, we'll have HIS, the 6th graders. They will walk over to see the school. They come from 8 to 11, and they're really excited, and they get to see what we have going on at the junior high. They get to see some of the electives and the core teachers, and we have an excellent program. We have a Q&A session, and mostly it's led by our students. So our pace setters work really hard to guide us through that process. We also, we have, as Dr. Sutherland said, we are definitely in the throes of sports. We have a girls' 7th and 8th grade soccer team. We've not had a 7th and 8th grade soccer team for quite some time, but Coach Spreck she played keeper at UNA, and so she has worked with our girls, and we're really excited to bring that program back, which is excellent. We took our practice ACAP recently, and we had gains across the board, and so we are very excited to see increases in math, and then we're also excited. We have adopted a cross-curricular approach with our history and our ELA teachers, so that our history is also helping with text-dependent writing. And we have found just a huge gain in writing and in ELA, and so, we're really excited about that. We also in band, we had 9 HDHS students achieve placement in the District 1 Honor Band, so that's quite an accomplishment, so we're excited about that. So, thank you.
Ms. Sheets is also at an event tonight, and so I just want to say from the intermediate school, she did want to congratulate Ms. Moses again on her robotics grant. They also hosted the Tiger Tournament drone competition. They had teams from Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, and Tennessee attend, so they're very excited to have all of those teams come to our community and enjoy that competition in our community. And also, HIS hosted several other schools last week for the Hope Institute's Character Learning Walks. They are a member and a charter member of that Hope Institute group, and that, she said, that gives them the opportunity to host events for teachers and leaders, as well as create moments for their own students to experience that culture building and further develop that. Their character team leads the conversations, applying startup ideas and encouragement that participants can take back to their elective schools, which they believe is multiplying character for all of those who attend those events. And she said that is the Tiger way. So we know she would want to be here but couldn't be here tonight, so we wanted to read that as well. And then we have Ms. Helms from FEB.
All right, so like as Dr. Sutherland mentioned earlier, our robotics teams are gearing up for the state competition. All 3 of our robotics teams got a bid for states. We're doing that in the next couple of weeks. And then our drone teams also participated and competed in the competition in the intermediate school. And you'll be happy to know Eli, who showed you his code at the last board meeting, he did win. Their team won the skills award, which is coding and skills. And then our other team also won just a coding award. So it's exciting for them as well. Next week we have our Glow Night with PTO, but it's also the book fair. So if you want to come by and grab a book or a poster or an invincible pen, you're welcome to come by to our book fair. But we also have STEM challenges next Tuesday night in the classroom as part of our STEM Cognia certification with our parental involvement. And then Mr. Coburn mentioned that Ms. Roden received the robotics grant, and then Ms. Halverson, our STEM teacher, also received the TVA grant, which she's going to put in a tadpole trail in our outdoor classroom. And I want to brag on her because with the TVA representatives, they were very complimentary of her outdoor classroom. And I know it belongs to all of us, but she's put a lot of hard work and love into the outdoor classroom.
Thank you. And Ms. Bowler?
Well, we found out today, it was confirmed that we have 2 teams going to state on the robotics teams. And we have our second family fun night this Thursday, where we teach our parents how to play some fun games. The students are learning, they don't know that they're learning. It's all part of Equipping Minds. And so last year we had over 900 people in attendance, and I've had more parents ask about that than anything else this year. So we're bringing that back, and we're excited about that. Saturday, we have our mob, Men of Berkeley Bridge, coming to help fill in the holes with poles that will hold hammocks, and students will be able to Across America. That is next week. Monday, we will have all of our contests. Our students are bringing in all of their Dr. Seuss contests, entrances that right now. And our stakeholder breakfast is Monday. I hope everyone will be there Monday to see that. Tuesday, we have our hovercraft project coming. They're out of Florida. We convinced them 2 years ago to come to Hartselle. They don't normally do that with fourth graders. It's only our fourth graders who get to do it. But we convinced them that Hartselle's fourth graders are like fifth graders, and so they came and they said, "You're right, we're going to come back again." So all of our students in fourth grade get to build a hovercraft and ride it. So if you are around anytime Tuesday, go to the Civic Center and you can see them build hovercrafts and ride them. They might even let you ride them. I don't know. And then Wednesday, we have our stuffing day. We have a huge fundraiser for the library, and she has cleared over $15,000, and students get to stuff animals, and then they'll get treated with them the next day. So we've got a lot going on.
Good, exciting. And Miss Light?
So on the elementary level, February is not as busy as the secondary. We like to say it's the calm before the storm, because after spring break it's nuts. So we're enjoying our kind of downtime. We don't have a lot of after-school activities, but we had our drones compete, just like everyone else's team. They had a great time, and you know, drones competitions are typically far away, so it was wonderful that the intermediate school offered this. So we hope that they keep that up. It's a great opportunity for our kids. We just spent $26,000 on virtual reality headsets. It was a combination of our PTO funds and some technology funds, so we're really excited. We're getting ready to go on some virtual safaris and some zoos, and we're talking about if zoos are ethical. We've been doing some writings and different things like that, but you should see these kids' faces when they put them on. Just a couple of notes: you need to sit down and not get up and move around, or you can become injured. Just saying, when you have the headsets on. Our outdoor classroom, we're in the process of getting recertified again. As you guys know, we had an award-winning outdoor classroom, and then it went down with the building, and so we've had to start over. We've invested close to $20,000 already, and we are in the process of investing about $20,000 more. But our students work in our outdoor classroom every week. We compost, we garden, we learn outside, and so it's a very important piece of what we do every day. Of course, we have the book fair coming up. We always encourage the kids to buy books, but they're always drawn to the cheap pens and the fun stuff. But you know, we have lots of parents that say, please send them home with books and not junk. And then just to update on pre-K, so we have over 225 students registered so far for pre-K for 164 spots. We're anticipating 250, so that means we have a lot on the waiting list. Registration closes in about 2 weeks, with the drawing being on the 13th. It is open to the public, so if any of you want something to do on a Friday morning at 8 o'clock on March 13th, you can come to Crestline and watch me draw names out of a bucket. Oh, actually numbers, we don't draw names. And sometimes it can be a little discouraging when the poor mama walks out crying because her baby didn't get in. But we usually try to find a place for them somewhere. So anyway, it's great time at Crestline.
Thank you. The last thing I have, we have a handout. I think Ms. Robin has a handout, and we'll get that handout. Mr. Calder will help her get those handed out. I know some of you have been at the last couple of working sessions where we have discussed out of district and the fees that are associated with that. And so the board has worked very hard. We've worked very hard to make sure that we're being fair and we're being equitable, and at the same time, we have lots of things, as you've just heard, all the things that our students are involved in, all the things that they want to be involved in, and so it's very important for us to ensure financial stability for years to come. So on your handout, page 1 is just sort of a little breakdown, because I think, you know, when you put numbers with the data that we're talking about, it is very insightful. So as you see, in the 25-26 school year, we charge $750 per out-of-district student, and our total expenditures, our shortfall for our out-of-district students was almost $630,000. One thing I want to note is that is just academic instruction. So we didn't put administrative costs in there, we didn't put CMP, we didn't put transportation because our out-of-district students are not provided transportation. This was just the academic cost per pupil and then what it costs for us to educate students. So that is 2 breakdowns of what is in that number in those middle circles. And I I do want to make sure that I say this. Our goal is to make sure that we have out-of-district students in our district. We value our out-of-district students. So nothing of this should, in our opinion, be discouraging to our out-of-district families. We want all of our out-of-district families to be engaged in our school district. We also have to make sure that we're financially equitable, that we're sustainable for the programs that we have. There's lots of wants and there's lots of needs that come before this board and come before Mr. Colburn and myself, and we want to provide everything we can. If it was the perfect world, everyone could go to school in Hartsville City Schools free. That's what we would love to happen, but unfortunately, there's just not enough money for that to happen. And so we've had lots of discussion. This has been a very serious conversation with our board. Lots of restless nights. How do we make this happen? Because we don't want our tuition to be at a rate that discourages people from wanting to be a part of our district. As you see, last year it cost $1,341 to educate students. We did not want to double tuition to equal that. And so the way this number has come up with, $1,000, is we averaged the cost that it has cost us to educate students over a 5-year period. Because as you see in some of that data, some years it's more, some years it's a little bit less. Our projected balance, or projected per student as far as the academic side next year is $1,110. We didn't want to go up that high because we felt like we needed to have an incremental increase that was fair to our families. And so I think sometimes decisions are made and you're not informed of where that came from or where we came up with those numbers. So we wanted to provide you with that so that you could see that it's not an arbitrary number. It is a number that we felt like was fair and equitable. And some of those reasons are at the bottom as well. That we do not sacrifice the academic excellence for our district because we have some shortfalls. And also long term, when we start to plan and we start to think about what's coming in the future, we want to make sure that we're ready for that and that we're being financially responsible not only to our local families, but also to our out-of-district families and how those mesh well together. So the second page is also just a flyer, just to break down. So enrollment begins March the 2nd. Enrollment is based on availability. We are looking at making sure that our building capacity holds the number of kids we have. We look at growth. We look at neighborhoods that are being built. We want to make sure that we don't outgrow ourselves in Hartsville City Schools, and our buildings have the capacity to best educate our students. So you see that on there as well. All of the information is on this page, as well as how you can contact us if you have questions. Ms. Catherine Tyler on here will answer any of those questions and helps us work through that process and helps all of our parents better understand if they have any questions. We will send these documents out also through Parent Square so that everyone has that information. And we just wanted to give people plenty of time before the deadline of when tuition is due, which is, I think, June 30th, to make those adjustments and to make decisions that's best for their family. But I do want to say again, we value in-district and out-of-district students. Many of the students you see that come present before the board, many of our teachers are out-of-district. Many of our best students and those that we work with every day, that we love on every day, it doesn't matter to us where they live. But we do need to provide an equitable education opportunity for all of our students, and that is why we have to evaluate tuition as we move forward, and that we try to be fair with that. So that is a handout for you, and that is all I have, and so now we will move into our action items.
Okay, I did want to I know the out-of-district tuition was a big talking point with our board and staff, and give the board an opportunity to speak to that, should they desire to make any comments.
I just want to say that we have lost sleep over it, because if it was up to Miss Dana, we would educate every child at no cost. But it doesn't work that way, and I've had to learn that in this process since November. I'm so thankful for teachers who live out of district who come here to work, and I want to do whatever we can possibly do to help them, because you all know this, we don't pay anybody what they're worth, and we know that. But we want to be fair to everyone that is in our system. So I just want you to know that this is not a decision that was made overnight. We really have worked hard to make this where we feel like like that it is a doable thing for all of us.
And I'd echo what Dana said. You know, the reality of the situation here is most all of us that ran, I think all of us that ran during this last election, I mean, we all specifically said, hey, we are going to make every effort to make sure that we're taking care of our out-of-district teachers in a way that incentivizes them to come and be a part of this system. And so while we weren't able to actually give a discount, it did stop an increase, and I think that's a first step to what we all want to do. So that's the intent when you see that chart. If you also look at it, I mean, you see we still got a $135,000 shortfall, and you know this is a public organization, right? So you don't go to a city council meeting and you don't see where they're sending $135,000 to Priceville or $135,000 to Falkville. So we're trying to be fiscally responsible to the citizens and taxpayers of Hartsville, which is who we work for. So I would like to see that be a zero line item on future budgets, but this was a way for us to get there that wasn't such a shock to the people who were already paying that fee. So I think that's our intent here with that. But you know, we wanted to try to target, if we are going to subsidize something, we do want to target those subsidies in a way that benefits the employees that come work here. So that's that, and again, you know, it's a voluntary fee. So you know, Priceville's got schools, Falkville has schools. So this is not something that is really required by anybody except for, ironically, those teachers that choose to come in and educate. So just expect to see more of that next year. At least that's what we're kind of pushing for. So just my perspective on that.
Yeah, and I can echo the same. I think we've had many discussions that we would love to further benefit our out-of-district teachers, because they're educating our kids, and, you know, we definitely want to support them as well.
Very good, good thoughts. All right, we'll move to action items. We've got several to cover, and so Dr. Sutherland will let you start with the first.
Okay, number one is, we make the recommendation to approve 3 buses to be declared surplus property. These are the new buses replace these 3, so just for that note. A 2006 Thomas Special Needs bus, a 2005 Thomas Type D 72 passenger bus, and a 2009 Thomas Type D 72 passenger bus.
All right, got a recommendation for surplus property. Do we have a motion?
Motion?
Got a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Discussion on this item? All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I make the recommendation to approve a bid for a walk-in cooler / freezer for Barkley Bridge.
All right, we covered this in previous work session and then briefly earlier tonight. So we've got a recommendation to approve a walk-in fridge for Barkley Bridge. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion on this cooler?
It's about time.
Yes, very good. All right, all in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
We make the recommendation to approve the following bid renewals. Produce bid, which is 2024/104, OK Produce. Chemical bid 2024/108, SFS packed bid. Fresh pizza delivery bid number 2024109 for Pizza Hut. And an ice cream service bid 2025/103 for Murphy Pure Milk, and that is also a second year for that bid.
All right, got a recommendation for CNP bid renewals. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion on these items? All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I make the recommendation to approve the upgrade of lighting in the classrooms, hallway, cafeteria, and exterior of the main building at the Hartsville Junior High School.
All right, a motion for a lighting project of HJHS. We heard the details on that earlier. Entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Got a motion from Dr. Holland. Do we have a second?
Second.
Bruce. We'll give it to Mr. Wilhite. All right, any discussion?
I do have one more question on this. In the gym, the new lights, you can kind of make brighter and dimmer. Will these be the same?
No, not.
Will just be
one thing to note, the board and the district put together a capital plan for every fiscal year. This is a project that was all capital plan and not something that we necessarily say, well, hey, you're not sticking with your plan, but what I think we do task the staff to do is find ways that we can be fiscally responsible, and the ROI on this project is about a 2-year payback, and then we'll be to the good through rebates and energy efficiency. So kudos to looking for that, and we'll do that included in capital projects should the benefits outweigh the expense in that way. All right, any more discussion? Good. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I make the recommendation to approve the job position and salary schedule for the position of HCS Virtual Program Facilitator.
Okay, we've got a motion for a new job description, as stated by Dr. Sutherland. We'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Would you mind giving a little more detail about the responsibilities and functions of this role?
Right, so currently we have a virtual program that is at our A school or Sterrett Street building. That program, we have a facilitator there who does more than what a traditional paraprofessional role would do as far as gathering work, ensuring that work is done, collaborating with administrators, collaborating with teachers. And so that role has grown with the number of students that have grown and they are responsible for. And so we just want to make sure that there's an equitable pay for the amount of work that's going into making sure that our students are graduating and making sure that they are successful, and there's lots of communication, lots of back and forth with teachers, making sure that our students are successful, and so we want to make sure that that is an equitable position for what we're requiring of that person.
Okay. All right, any further discussion?
I will say we toured over there a couple months ago, and it was really impressive. The students are in all walks of life that need this service, and so Dr. Swindle did a really good job at supporting those.
Very good. All right, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I make the recommendation to approve the job position and salary schedule for a position of maintenance grounds worker.
Okay, so we've got a recommendation to approve a job position and salary schedule, as mentioned. We'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Got a motion, we have a second?
Second.
All right, same thing, I'm gonna ask Mr. Smith to come up and kind of talk a little bit about what this role may do, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. So every year, some of y'all were here a few minutes ago, but some of them weren't. So every year we kind of look holistically at our grounds maintenance program. That's been partitioned into several different categories. Some of it's been delegated in the past to the local schools to manage through their custodial staff. Some of it we do through volunteers. So basically the hope is, the plan is that by adding this type of position, we will start taking those duties under one umbrella and addressing it more systematically from the district level, instead of it being so segmented and left to different groups to kind of piecemeal this together. We feel like that's what we owe our campuses and our schools, would allow our custodians to spend more time back in the buildings, especially during the summertime, which is a busy time. But it's very much a work in progress, and we've got some ideas and some hypotheses on how it might play out. But we'll keep working towards that overall goal. So that's where we are.
Very good. The goal is to improve the aesthetics of our facilities, that they reflect how much we care about the district. So, all right, any other comments? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I make the recommendation to approve the first reading of the policy updates for public participation.
All right, got a recommendation for policy updates to the public participation policy. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
All right, any comments?
Again, just another one of those things that the majority of us ran on, is that we want to hear what you have to say. Now, we may have to cut you off at times if you're outline, but we want you to feel free to talk to us. We don't, we wanna know what you think, and so this is just another way for us to try to be a little more transparent.
And this is a revision of the existing policy, which would require a 5-day notice and just a cumbersome at best effort to participate. So what we're trying to do is just make it easier. The reality of this is we got a good crowd tonight, but the reality is it's the same 12 people in here. So we're always available, and we've had participation during work sessions before where we're allowing that discussion is happening there with a member of the public. So our intent is public participation. We paid an attorney good money to write this, and it's 2 paragraphs, and okay, we got our money's worth. But the intent is that we're available and accessible at any time.
And it changes it to 2 days instead of 5.
Yeah.
And typically, our agenda goes live at least 3 days to 4 days ahead. So our time frame wasn't aligning as far as the old policy also said it had to be an agenda item. And so we revised that a little bit so that if you had a concern that you wanted to bring forth, it didn't necessarily have to be on the agenda. It just, there are some, guidelines as far as how to do that, but we wanted to make sure that if there were things that you wanted to hear, and our board was very adamant about making sure that if there were things that you wanted to bring before the board and discuss, that we had an open platform for you to be able to do that. And so I think they have done a good job of working through that and making that more transparent and accessible to everyone.
And kind of last comment on that is the 2-day requirement is strictly not because we are not open to having a candid conversation. Just from the board perspective, it's generally not policy to respond in this setting, and 2 days gives the staff the opportunity to address, talk through, filter any questions that may have that I think a lot can be resolved prior to coming here, where you're unfortunately probably not going to get an answer directly anyway. So it's really just kind of a checks and balances. But rest assured that 2 days, your concerns are still going to be communicated up to the board and hopefully addressed in a manner that we can all agree on, whether it's what you want to hear, whether it's not. Hopefully it's something that we can agree on. So again, just something that we're working hopefully in the right direction here. All right, no other discussion. We'll say, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
So the superintendent makes a recommendation to approve the policy update for vacation policy. This is the first reading as well.
All right, the first reading for policy, it is 5.10.6 regarding vacation. You can see the edits in your notebook, and I think it really allows for just establishing what continuous service is. All right, so we've got that addressed, and we'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right, personnel items.
Okay, we make the recommendation to approve the following personnel items: transfers, additional duties, substitutes, volunteers, and a retiree agreement.
All right, several personnel items presented. Unless I hear different, we'll tackle these all together. All right, so those are presented in front of you. We'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Got a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in
Maybe just about the retiree, the lawn maintenance retiree, if you want to speak on that right quick, just because I need clarification on that.
Sure, so we obviously just approved a job description to address a full-time lawn care employee. We've tackled it in the past with a multitude of retiree contracts. We still don't think one person can handle every bit of it, so we are engaging one of the retirees to come back and do mowing in the normal capacity he'd done before. A lot of grounds to mow, and will be helpful for a period of time throughout the growing season. All right, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. All right, so item 10 on our agenda is informational items, and tonight we've got a couple of people that would like to to address the board on different topics, so we're going to move into that portion of our meeting tonight. I've got a little information I need to read, so please bear with me. So speakers are asked to come to the podium, state their names, and we're going to ask that the remarks be limited to about 3 minutes. Please direct your comments to the board. The board will listen to your concerns, but as I mentioned earlier, a lot of times there's not a dialogue or a response there. Please don't take that as any offense. Comments should remain relevant to school and operations, and the board will not address concerns on individual students. And we will move into those comments now. So you have to go first.
Mr. Jeff Sharp.
So, I'm Jeff Sharp. I appreciate y'all giving me the time to come speak to y'all tonight. I'm actually one of the parents of Eliana Sharp that's on one of the 3 robotic teams for Burleson that qualified for state. She'd actually be here tonight, but she's at home sick, so she was going to talk a little bit. But I see we have some other kids that are on the other teams as well that are here, so I'm going to bring my speech down some and maybe just key in on some points that I think are important, and then let the kids kind of talk if that's all right. So, because recently we came to our attention that if we qualify for state, that we would not be supported to go to the World in St. Louis. So that's the main reason we're here, to talk to you, to maybe reconsider to see if we can get that support in case one of the teams qualifies. And none of them have qualified yet. Obviously, we got states in a couple weeks. So I'm going to point out some key points that I've kind of seen, as this is my first year and been involved in robotics, and that's what I do for a living as well too. So I'm passionate about as well. The first thing I want to say, let's pause on what qualify really means for competitions like VEX Robotics World Championships. They're not raffles or participation trophies. These teams or these kids earn their place by hard work and dedication. They design, build, code, test, fail, redesign, journal, and persevere for months. If our students qualify, it means they have demonstrated excellence in engineering, teamwork, research, interviewing, and core values at the highest level of competition. These are elementary students, and I've been there because I've had to get up on Saturday mornings. They commit their Saturdays in the summertime, after school, competitions on the weekends, so they're dedicated to what they're doing. Let's see what's good here. I think a trip to the World Championship would not just be a reward, it would be an extension of their education, and it would afford these students to meet and collaborate with their peers from the same grades, as well as learn other cultures, because you'll have people from all over the world. Competing at that level exposes students to innovation from around the globe. They meet peers who share their passion for science, technology, engineering, and math, as we all know with STEM, which is a big focus right now. They see what is possible. For many students, this is the moment they begin to picture themselves as engineers, programmers, researchers, or inventors. We often talk about preparing students for the future. Robotics is the future. We just had a conversation earlier about somebody talking about AI and using AI to. So we need to grasp this and hold on to it. The skills they develop in this program, critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, and collaboration, are the exact competencies that employers consistently say they need. And as I said before, my company, I work hand in hand with robotics. So that's what companies are looking for, manufacturers, technology, engineering. So basically, if any of our elementary robotics teams earn the right to compete at World, they will not just be representing themselves, they will be representing our schools, our community, and the values that we teach to them every day. They will represent curiosity, they will represent perseverance, they will represent excellence, and so all we're asking is if they qualify to give them an opportunity to do that. Let them stand on the stage knowing that their school system believe they were worth the opportunity. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Sharp. All right, so next speaker is going to be Mr. Carter Kelso, here to address us.
you want to speak to us about tonight?
I'm here because to share my experience from last year that I've never been able to experience, and if it wasn't for robotics. At the Vex World Championship, my team competed with teams from around the world. They didn't speak our languages, and that was kind of hard, and they had different strategies, they had different bots, they had different brain ideas, they had different ideas than we had, and they read it differently than how we did. We also communicated with students with other backgrounds. It was very hard at times. Sometimes we'd have to draw pictures to communicate and use Google Translate to know what they're saying and get a good strategy down, so we could plan and have a great strategy. This is for teamwork. We learned about different countries and their cultures. I tried different countries' candy, like the German kind. It's pretty sweet. I dressed like a kid from Mexico. There were different countries and cultures. They got to let you try on stuff, try stuff, and it's pretty cool. I even got a plant from the UK, the British, and they let me have it. They let me keep it. Got to fly on an airplane. I got to sit in the cockpit. That was my first time riding on an airplane. It's very cool. I liked it. I took pictures of the clouds with my little camera. I represented my school and community. This is where I got to represent my school and my robotics team. And I know somebody could go on TV and watch us do good at the World's Championships. We got to see people less fortunate than myself living on the streets, like the homeless. We don't really see that much in Alabama, so it's kind of not cool, but it's different. In robotics, we are taught to work hard, solve problems, never give up, and always try our best. We spend many hours designing, coding, testing, failing, and trying to learn how to work as a team and how to think like engineers. Robotics helps us be ready for the future. It teaches us skills we will use for the rest of our lives. If it weren't for y'all, we wouldn't be able to do these things. So I want to thank you. When you support robotics, you support our abilities. I know I'm probably out of time, so I'd like to leave you with a few things I made. Thank you for letting me share my experience.
Everybody has one. We can pass them down.
Hey, I do want to tell you that we're super brave for you to come and speak tonight at our board
And you
meeting.
did an amazing job. You did an
Amazing job.
God, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Carter. Good job, buddy. All right, as we wrap up tonight's informational item, our next board meeting, we're going to meet on March the 17th at 6 p.m. here. We'll have a work session prior to that at 5. And we all got our money's worth tonight. Thank y'all for hanging in there with us. And board, any comments as we close? Dr. Sutherland?
Thank you.
Very good. Thank y'all for being here. Have a good evening. We'll be adjourned at 7.